And we're live. I'm just gonna write in the chat right now. If you have any coffee questions, then feel free to post them here. Ta-da! So, welcome. This is the third day of using these beans over here. So it's a sample set, and the one that we've been playing around with is the Onibus blend. Yesterday it was pretty balanced and taste was okay, but we had kind of like a realization as we were sipping it where the taste of the coffee would probably suit a lower brewing ratio because it's more focused on mouthfeel and those mouth experiences and textures and qualities there. So we're gonna lower the brewing ratio today and we're gonna see what that cup will taste like. And yet again, we're using the Onibus original blend. I don't know if you can see it right over here. But yeah, it's three different beans in here. So it's a natural Brazilian, it's a fully washed Guatemalan, and it's a natural Ethiopian. Its tasting notes are sweet chocolate, creamy mouthfeel, wine, and long aftertaste. So just actually looking at the description of the beans over here, I think it's really fascinating how this blend over here is roasted a bit on the darker side, but the beans that are being used are actually like the Ethiopian natural. You would expect that to be on the lighter side of things. So yeah, it really goes to show that they have taken a bean that is normally a bit more light roasted by most roasteries, and they've used it in a blend which is primarily more dark roasty. So yeah, let's begin our third and final brew with this bag of beans over here. I'll move the camera down, like so, and we'll start measuring. And 15. Like so. And we'll grind the beans. So nice and ground. Exactly 15 grams. I'll get the boiling water. Right over here, we got the boiling water. We got our Hario V60. We have our fabric filter. And we need a cup to brew in. Like so. Oh yeah, so today I should actually be using the larger one, because what I realized, or what commenter said was that instead of pouring twice, I should just use one big pour, one continuous pour with the big Hario V60. So why not? That's what we're gonna do today. Like so. We'll tear that. But first, we're just gonna preheat everything. Make sure it's nice and hot. I've been having a sniffy nose today. I think it's the pollen or allergy or dust that's really just clogging up my nose. So before I'm tasting, I'll probably go and blow my nose to open that up. Like so. Tear. Toss in the beans. Make a small hole. Ooh, we got a question. Did they have any recommendations for brewing this blend? And if so, how much of that are you following versus your own? So they do have a brewing guide, but the brewing guide is very generic. So even though I can't read Japanese, but the brewing guide looks like they're doing a segmented pour. So there are 3 different values down over here, 80, 60, and 45, and I think that they are pouring in those increments with this, with all of their beans. And they're using a pretty small dose also. They're using 13 grams instead of 15 grams that I'm using. So yeah, initially I did start off with this recipe as a benchmark, but then now I'm just modifying it by taste. Okay, let's begin. Turn the timer on, like so. Pour 50 grams of water. Give it a stir. And then we pour the remaining amount, and we're pouring 225 grams of water. To 25. Then we take it and we give it a spin, like so. And now we wait. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm actually just gonna go and blow my nose, BRB. And we're back again. So the difference between today's brew and yesterday's brew, here, I'll bring it up over here. So yet again, the difference between today's brew and yesterday's brew is that we lowered the brewing ratio, but we increased the water temperature to compensate. And to be honest, I don't think the change in water temperature will compensate for the 2 notches that I changed the brewing ratio. So I moved it from 1:17 to 1:15. But instead, I'm gonna add some water into the brew if it's way under extracted to balance it out a bit. And I kind of like going from a under extracted point and then just adding a bit of water to open it up instead of trying to aim exactly for a perfect balanced cup, because that is usually kind of hard when you just have one more brew to do. So I kind of like erred on the more cautious side and brought it way down, so the brewing ratio down by 2 notches, and we'll see how it goes and how it tastes. Okay, getting close, getting close. What kind of coffee are you guys brewing today or drinking? Any delicious beans? Tell me in the chat and let's talk about it. Okay. Like so. So this time around, when here, let me turn this down. This time around, I did it all in one long continuous pour. I didn't pulse it. And I think you can kind of see from the bed actually, it's not as flat as last time. And you can see some grinds up high and dry over here. So I think the one continuous pour was a bit too rough. I should have poured a bit slower. And I should have probably just used the smaller one and poured in 2 segments. Oh yeah, gourmet instant coffee. To be honest, I've been talking to my sister Faye, who's in the chat right now, and we've been raving about instant coffee, and how it really isn't that bad if you compare it to like whole beans. You might get a instant cup of coffee that's like 60-70% taste of a really well done whole bean cup, but guess what? It's instant and it's quick and it's easy and it's dirty. So to be honest, I'm bringing some to a camping trip in a week and a half, and the convenience factor is just through the roof. Roasted on a popper. Let's see. Roasted on a popper the other day. New method for me, so still dialing in the process. Probably not close to what you're drinking. Well, it's all a learning process, and I think that you'll nail it down pretty quickly. I believe you had another roaster too, right? You had a rotary roaster. So I think you'll pick it up pretty quickly after a couple of roasts. Okay. Let's see this. Let's give it a drink. I think this is the best cup so far. It has more qualities that I want in a cup of coffee. It has a slight acidity to it, and it's not sour, it's acidity, where it actually resemblance or reminds me of some kind of chocolatey, nutty like taste, but also like a slight tartness to it in there, which is interesting, probably from the Ethiopian natural beans. The lingering mouthfeel is way longer than the 2 other brews. and it's probably the best cup so far. Like, I would probably take this as a starting point for these beans the next time I brew with the Onibus blend, just because it just has more characteristics to latch onto and to play around with. I'm gonna add a dash of water to see what it does. It'll probably open up a bit and taste a bit different, so we'll see. Here we go. It turned out even better with the dash of water. So with the dash of water, the mouthfeel is even longer, it lingers longer, but it has also kind of lost some of those acidities that I want. So mouthfeel went up, taste qualities went slightly down. But I do think that this cup actually is better than the one that I just had a couple of seconds ago where it didn't have a dash of water. So maybe like a 1:16 brewing ratio is ideal for these beans. Maybe, yeah, there's still things to be played around with this cup over here. Let's see what's happening in the comments over here. I roasted an Ethiopian organic irgashef. Was aiming for a light medium, turned out medium dark. Haha, roasted in like 5 minutes. Yeah, that's the tough thing with popcorn poppers. There's no temperature control. And the only way you can, like from my experience, the only way you can control the temperature is to like add this like electricity like gauge thing that can kind of like fluctuate how much electricity goes into the popcorn popper because it's only an on-off system. So I've read some of the hacks online where you can do that, but it's a lot of stuff to do to just get your popcorn popper to control temperature. Oh, okay, just roasted again yesterday, much better this time. Slowed the roast down to around 15 minutes. Yeah, that's ideal. About a medium roast this time. We'll drink tomorrow. So another thing that really helps with popcorn poppers is movement. So having a lot of movement when you're roasting with a popcorn popper helps it so that the same air doesn't just hit the same beans and then become a dark roast. And having the dose as high as possible in your popcorn popper without it flying out is also a great way to play around with it. Oh, so you do have a voltage regulator. Damn. Yeah, that is for sure the way to go if you want to play around with the temperature of a popcorn popper. Like when I was modulating my temperature, I was actually like tossing the beans up and down with my hands while I was doing it to get more like air circulation in there to slow down the roast time on some of my pops. So it's really it's a really basic way to roast, but you can modify it a lot to make it work. And I see that you've made it work. So I'm actually doing something else right now too. I'm gonna make some cold brew because I have a seminar, coffee seminar that I'm doing on cold brew in 2 days, and I need to test it out and see how it goes. So cold brew, let's go. I got these beans over here. We're gonna make it in a jar. So the way that we'll be making it is we will just be pouring grinds in over here. We'll fill it with water around a 1:8 ratio. And when you want to strain out the liquid, I'll just be using a coffee filter and pouring this liquid into there to strain it. So it's kind of like a toddy cold brew system without the bag. You just use a coffee filter instead. So this goes down over here. And this thing is around a liter, I think. Does it say? Sure, let's just do a liter. Actually, I'm gonna pour the water in first so I know exactly how much it can hold. Yeah, let's do 600 grams. Like so. So 600 grams, and we're looking for a 1:8 ratio. 600 divided by 8 equals 75. So I need to use 75 grams of coffee over here. Like so. There we go. Give that a stir. Like so. And that's it. Now I just wait 24 to 48 hours and that's it. I'm gonna put that into the fridge. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this stream. Nice interactions with the chat. I always love talking with you guys. It's always fun. Delicious coffee. I think this is one of those blends that, you know, like it's very crowd pleasing and it would be a great daily driver for a lot of people. If you're looking for unique and interesting acidities or like sweetnesses, I don't think this is the cup of coffee that you would aim for, but I just feel like it's a very general and overall pleasant cup that a lot of people would accept as decent and good. So yeah, get it for the standardness of it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow when I open up another one. Tomorrow I'll probably do the... Actually, let's mix it up. Let's do the Ethiopian one. We're gonna do this guy. Ethiopian Worka Sakaro. Yeah. Okay, have a good day everyone. Enjoy all that it has to offer.